I'll stay right here. You alone are worthy of my praise. All the elders cast their crowns, we bow before you now. You won't hide your love from me. You're the God of angel armies, all of heaven singing holy, holy to our God. You won't hide your love from me. You're the God of angel armies, all of heaven singing holy, holy to our God, to our God. I won't run from your love, but I'll testify that you are alive. He was raised, oh what a price was paid for me. Sing to the Lord God of angel armies. Holy, holy, to the Lord God of angel armies. Holy, holy, to the Lord God of angel armies. Holy, holy, to the Lord God of angel armies, who was and is to come, who was and is to come, who was and is to come, who was and is to come. Right in King Jesus, right in King Jesus, right in King Jesus, right in.
What's up, everybody? Good evening. Welcome to our part 2 from this morning. If you didn't watch it, go and watch it. It was phenomenal. I want to talk through today on how to master business. If you don't want to be poor anymore, then you should watch this. Hallelujah. And even if you're not poor now, you can still watch this. In this teaching, I'm going to tell you how you can master business, whether you're starting at 0 or you're starting at the top. There's always room to grow. So for starters, I want you to share this, like this, send it to somebody and let them know that we're live. And even if you're watching the replay, still send it to somebody, all right? So I want to address a few limiting beliefs about business and money in itself. And then I'm going to give you a very simple framework for you to either grow it or to build it from the bottom up, okay? Number 1, time is not money, okay? The more you believe that time is equivalent to money is the more that you will have either no time or no money or both, right? If you give your life over to money, you will have no time. But if you give your life over to time, you will have no money. So you need not to idolize either one of them, but you should have leverage with one so that you can have access to the other, right? Here's what I mean. If I tell you that time is more valuable than money, you may not believe that because you may not have a lot of money, right? But if I tell you that money is greater than time, you may not believe that simply because you love your family, you love all these different things. So my assertion to you today is time does not equal money. Let me prove it to you. If I told you that I could give you $1 million right now, would you say yes? But the caveat to that is that you have to die today. Do you still want the money? Why? Because time is more valuable than money. Okay, so that's number 1. And in knowing that, you have to do a thing with money. There are people who make money in 4 different ways. The first way is through working a job. Jobs are not bad. Jobs are necessary for you to be able to invest in yourself and grow, develop, and mature, right? You need a job sometimes. You know, some people didn't have to have a job, but most people in 2025 or 2026 have to have a job simply because it gives them structure, discipline, and a foundation on what it means to be a person of value. But just because you're working a job does not mean that you are not valuable. But it does mean that the level of value that you are utilizing is on a lower level, right? Even if you're driving sales for a company, you are still on a lower level of value simply because you are working from the place of a system. Hope that makes sense. Excuse me. That's number 1. Number 2, you have people who not only do they have a job, but now there are the people who are self-employed. These are your freelancers. These are the people who do taxes. These are the people who do cutting hair, doing hairdressers, nail techs. These are people who are self-employed, meaning they put themselves on a job, right? So the first one, employee, is that you have a job. The second one, self-employed, is that you own a job, right? That means that you are responsible for every part of the business or whatever you are doing, whatever service that you're providing. Usually, if you are self-employed, you're selling a service and not necessarily a product, okay? So that's number 2. Number 3, you also have business owners. So you may say, well, JaQuan, what's the difference between a business owner and a self-employed? I'm glad you asked. Somebody who is self-employed is somebody who employs themselves. Somebody who owns a business employs other people and systems to make money for themselves. right? That's the delineation. So there are people who love doing a thing, but there are people in their love for doing a thing, they exhaust themselves, which is why they want more time and more money, right? That's number 3. So you have employee, self-employed, business owner. Employee owns a job or has a job. Self-employed owns a job. And a business owner owns systems. Hope that's clear. Number 4, that you are an investor. This means that you own parts of other businesses, right? If you're an investor, you're putting your money to work so that it can work for you. The end goal in this is to become an investor, all in all, okay? Now, here's the problem with people. Here's a limiting belief. You believe that you have to work for money. That's the problem. So you've made your time your money, which is why when you get into business, you charge hourly instead of a set rate. You say, I could do this for $90 an hour. I could have a consult for $50 an hour. And guess what? You're exhausted. Because you made time with you more valuable than the result that you can get somebody. Imagine that same hour in a group setting where you're selling a product or service that takes an hour to fulfill or get the result of, but it now costs, I don't know, $5,000 instead of $50,000. That's a 100x return, or what's the word I want to use? It's a 100x difference, rather. That's the word. Excuse me. And when you understand that, you then say, okay, I need to figure out a way to not allow for time to pass me by and I lose money. I don't want to be an hourly wager. I don't want to be a salary wager. If you do, have fun. But if you have goals likened unto many of you who are watching me today, you desire something greater. You desire something bigger. You desire something that's more profitable for you. You desire to have more. And in your desire for more, you are now intending or feeling as if there is a deficit somewhere. And the deficit that you have now, hear me, you don't have a money deficit. You have a knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and discernment deficit. You don't know what you're doing. Yeah, and that's okay. You don't know what you're doing, don't know what to do, don't know how to do it, and don't know who to do it for and when. And this is why we're having this business masterclass that is 100% free, 100% free, right? So that you can know and understand how to navigate the game of money, right? So what did I just say? The first limiting belief I want you to divorce from your mind is time equals money. And I want you to replace that with time is more valuable than money. Number 2, the limiting belief that many people have is money has to be made slow. Meaning I have to tie my wage to an hour, which is a sub point of the first point even, because if I make $1 million, but I make it in 40 years, is that valuable? No. But if I make $1 million in a year, that's more valuable. Why? Because I have more time. So when you're considering business, don't consider business based upon you giving out your time. Oh, you get an hour with me every day. You get an hour with me every week. Nobody cares. Don't shell out your hours for the sake of trying to be busy. Here's another limiting belief. A booked calendar is equivalent to a lot of money. You are booked and busy, but you are booked, busy, and poor. and tired and frustrated because you have a lot of things to do, a lot of activity, but your activity is not profiting you so that you can have more property. Hope that makes sense. So money cannot and should not be made slow. I want you to type this in the comments if you can. Money is a spiritual energy. It's a highly spiritual energy. It's connected to what? Wisdom, which is a high spiritual energy, right? If I am able to attract money, that means that I am a more spiritual being because I have to disconnect my money from things that are lower levels on the spiritual totem pole. I hope that's clear. Money is a spiritual energy, meaning I have to utilize spiritual what's the word? Strategy. There it is. I have to use spiritual strategy in order to access it. What is spiritual strategy? It's I need to use things that people can't see but benefit from in order for them to get a result. People can see if I do their hair. That's a low spiritual energy. I'm actively doing with my hands. It's still spiritual energy, but it's me having to work to use my body as the spiritual energy source. And you know why that's bad? I'm a finite resource. But then I will have other hairstylists. This ain't me for real. I don't do hair. I could organize and have other hairstylists. Now I'm still, utilizing spiritual energy, but it's somebody else's. That's coordination. That's organization. That's unification. That's a management type of thing. Then we get to the next level and you say, I don't want to do that. I want to teach and train other hairstylists on how to do this specific hairstyle or hair type in this specific industry. Now, I'm not doing any physical labor, but I'm doing spiritual labor because I'm speaking. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And then God said, He used a spiritual energy to create a result for somebody else. Because understand this, God didn't need the world. God didn't need people. God didn't need anything. God had no needs. Otherwise, He would not be God. Does that make sense? So, if I understand that, I now need to understand that my ability to communicate is more spiritual than for me to utilize my body or other bodies to get a certain job done. Does that make sense? So then there's another level. I go from speaking to thinking. Now my thoughts pay me. When I'm having advisory conversations with people, whenever I'm talking to people, they're asking me advice on a particular topic that I have insight in. When they do this, they're activating two parts of me. My imagination, my mind, and my ability to communicate. Because I have to think in a way that provides them a solution. And then they pay me for my thoughts. What if you got paid for thinking? I can make more from thinking than me actually doing the thing for you. So now we're here. I just broke some beliefs in you. Did that just change your mind? Time is not money. Money must not be made slow. It must be made fast because it is a spiritual energy. How many of you know who the owner of Apple or the founder of Apple is? What is his name? Steve Jobs? But I couldn't remember the other guy's name actually. And this is proving my point. We know Steve Jobs as the face, but we forget about Steve Wozniak and Ronald Wayne. There were 3 founders, not 1. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Oh, of the apple. That's good. 3 individuals are getting paid for post-mortem for what was in here. I want you to think about everything that you've ever thought about, every idea that you've ever had, and why didn't you actually access it and do anything with it? Well, I didn't have this, I didn't have that. Well, what do you have? What do you have? I didn't have the friends. I didn't have the support. That's the problem. You're looking for support and not sales. Now, I'm going to give you my framework, and I'm going to let y'all go. This is a simple framework. It's called the ABC framework. You'll remember it because it's so simple. This is how you're going to master your business, or if you're not, if you haven't started, or you want to start, or whatever it is, this is how you start and continue. ABC. A stands for audit. You need to perform an audit in 3 areas. Your skill set. What is a skill audit? A skill audit is when you review the history that you have and what you've done to help people. When you do a skill audit, it helps you define what you are proficient in. Whenever I feel like I want to do something different, I need to ask myself, am I proficient in it? And if I'm not, how do I become proficient in it? The skill audit is a segue into what you are already good at. Because if you're already good at something and people ask you for a specific thing and they are always coming to you for this specific thing, then that is where you need to lead into, because that is what will move the needle. Audit your skills. Why? Because skills pay bills. Type that in the chat if you can. Skills pay bills. If you got a skill, it can pay your bills. Oh, yeah. If you have a skill, it can pay the bills. When you do a skill audit, here's what you're doing. You're reviewing like a resume for yourself, right? What what do people ask you for? When people come to you, people ask you questions. What kind of questions are they asking you? If they're asking you questions related to finance and you help them get a result, that's where you need to lean into. If they're asking you questions about marriage and you give them a result, that's where you need to lean into. If they're asking you questions about dreams and you give them a solution, that's what you lean into. You know why? Because whatever people are receiving from you is a sign that is a direction that you need to go into. People ask me for financial strategy, but that's what they want. But that's not what they actually need. You get the strategy, of course. But if you don't have the mind behind the strategy, you'll never be able to perform it. Got it? The second audit is an internal audit. This is where you evaluate your purpose, passion, and incorporating the proficiency from your skills. Here's a calculation I want you to put on your piece of paper. Purpose plus passion times proficiency equals profit. Purpose is your why on the earth. Passion is what makes you feel satisfied. Proficiency is what you're skilled in. When you understand that, it can help you to see what is your profit anchor, what is your profit vehicle. The third component of the audit is, somebody said, say that one more time. Purpose plus passion times proficiency equals profit. Purpose is your why. Why are you on the earth? Why are you here? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why? Tell them that it's human nature. You have purpose, that's your why. Passion is your the feeling behind what you're doing. Proficiency is the skill that you have mastery in. Then that is related to your profit vehicle. Now, once you do that, then you're going to perform a market audit. You need to know what the market needs. You have 3 different markets. You have consumers, businesses, and the government. Excuse me. The consumers are people who just consume. They're not bad, but they may want stuff for free or close to it. Usually, it depends on context. Businesses, whether they be small businesses or medium-sized businesses or large businesses, they may have a need that you can solve. There are people who literally sell confidence to businesses. There are people who sell happy employee strategies to businesses. There are people who will go into a business and tell the business the reason why you're not scaling is because you have a financial leakage in one place. If you do 1, 2, and 3, you'll be able to increase your profit margin by 50% in the next year, and then you will be able to not work so hard. That's a solution. Then you have the government. The government is always looking for people who have services that they can pay. Government, consumers, businesses, and the government. What does the market need? If you don't know what the market is looking for, then you won't be able to be successful in it. There is nothing new under the sun. So you're not starting a new market. If nobody is in that market, that means you're in the wrong one. Hello? If nobody is actually in that market, that means that you may not be in the right market. All right, that's A, audit. B, build. What am I building? Once I know my skill, once I know my passion, purpose, and my proficiency, and I know my market, now I can develop my offer. What is the offer? The offer is the solution to the market's need. Your market is not specifically the entire demographic, it's individual. So my offer is I'm not speaking to like all businesses when I'm marketing. I'm only speaking to that specific business owner. So what am I building? I need to build my offer. What is in the offer? It's the benefits that serve that specific audience. I used to sell Medicare insurance, Humana. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but it's whatever. I used to sell Humana. It was amazing. Loved it. But we will always discuss the benefits of the plan according to what I have realized that the client needs or desires. Of course, I had to go over the basics of the plan, but I overemphasized the benefits that they desired, even though what they actually needed was not in what they actually desired. They didn't need dentures, but they got them because that's what they wanted. But on the back end, they got a full health plan, which is what they needed. I was able to sell not because I was good at sales. I was able to sell because I was good at listening. Hello. I was good, and I am good, at listening to what people really want. How do you uncover what people really want? It came through the market analysis or the market audit. I discovered what the market needs. I discovered what their pain was. I discovered what they wanted to do. I discovered some of their goals and intentions. I discovered their 10-year plan. I discovered that they wanted to be present for their family. I literally had a client recently who said, Mr. Gamble, this is what I want. I have a business. I make a couple $1,000,000 right now, but I am exhausted. I want to be able to make millions and not have to work so hard. Wow. Wow. And so my response is not to say, well, what you need is a mindset change. Yeah, I know that that's what they need. Because how they are dealing with money in business is not aligned with what they actually desire. But that's not what they want, right? You might need therapy, but I can't sell you therapy. I can sell you a more happy life. I can sell you a more profitable business. But on the back end, I'm giving you what you actually need, which is therapy. You don't like yourself. So I give you the strategies on liking yourself even when you're not successful. What does that do? That helps you become more successful because you have a resolve within yourself. What is that called? Therapy, coaching, consulting, all of that. So in sales, the offer is what people want, but the offer is not what's in the offer. It's not the components of the offer that makes people buy it. When you go to a car dealership, I want you to listen to what the salespeople say. They tell you, and I don't want to say exaggerate, they overemphasize particular things that you have shown interest in because they want you to be so attracted to what you want that you will pay whatever we tell you to pay. Sales 101. So, but what they really need is a vehicle that gets them to and fro. You don't really need a luxury car, but you want that. So let me tell you about what you want. I listen intently to what people say and what they're not saying. And the way I listen to what they're not saying is through asking follow-up questions. So you mean to tell me that you want to make more money? Great. Well, what's going to happen if you don't? You know what I'm doing? I'm agitating the pain. Who's going to be affected if you don't? What life won't you have if you don't? That's the who, what, where, when, how, and why framework. And this framework in itself helps you to dig into the pain so that you can sell them the dream. What is the dream? It's what they actually want. So when I say, hey, I have a program, this program will help you do X, Y, and Z in X, Y, and Z time so that you can have more of your time, so that you can love on your family, so you can go on trips. Here's what you get in this. You're going to get this benefit, and not just telling them the benefit, what it will do to help them reach that particular goal. Now, we have our benefits. I remember when I was selling the Medicare packages, it was a Part C plan. What was interesting was this. I was afraid when some of these plans cost money because most of these people are on fixed incomes, right? There were plans that were $100. But I didn't shy away from the $100 plans because I was not selling the price of the plan. I was selling the benefits of the plan. The benefits of the plan were greater than the price. So the value exchange was higher. I don't ever sell the the worth of the product, because dentures cost $2,000, right? Oh, that was another thing. I will always give the value of what I was selling. I would say, yeah, you're gonna get $2,000 toward dentures. You're gonna get $300 a month for over-the-counter expenses. You are going to get, when you enroll, I am already pre-selling you. When you decide to work with us, you're going to get X, Y, and Z. The value of this is $100,000, but you're only, it's only going to be $10K. I don't say 10,000 because 10,000 sounds scary. I say it's only 10K. How can I get you started today? Guess what I just did? I just closed you. I'm going to take y'all through a real sales process. Like, I'm going to sell y'all something live. And it's not even going to be something that you're actually going to buy. But I'm going to show you how this actually works one day, if you follow me. Okay. So the offer is the benefits and the price. So you're building the offer, number one. Number two, the marketing system. What is the marketing system? The marketing system is the process to attract these people. Where is your audience at? Your audience may not be on YouTube. Most of them are. Your audience may not be on Facebook. The majority of your audience may be on Instagram or LinkedIn. So you need to go where the people are. Connect where the people are, and your system or your process of attracting them has to be centered around where they're already located. So what is your marketing system? The marketing system is, am I doing content? From when I do content, where does that lead them? What is my lead magnet? Is my lead magnet my content? Okay, once they opt into or they like the content, what is the call to action? Are they going to a webinar? Are they going to a challenge? Are they paying? Is it free? Is it paid? What is it? Once they do that, what's next? Whenever you're thinking about a system, you need to think about the what's next. I'm building a business where people don't pay me once. I want you to pay me forever. I want you to pay me forever. I want to be your ACH bestie. When I'm thinking about businesses, I'm thinking about longevity. I'm thinking about how I can do one thing one time a month or whatever, however I build it, and I get paid every single month for it, or every single day, every single hour, every single minute. I'm thinking of ways where I can be in Hawaii, or I can be in Thailand, I'm always getting notifications. When I turn my phone, my Gmail open, and I say, oh my God, I made $60,000 in this last hour. Can you imagine a life? How many of you right now can imagine a life where you're making $10,000 every week? Can you imagine that? What would your life look like if you made an additional $10,000 every week without having to worry, without having to stress yourself out, without having to hustle? What would that do for you? Guess what I just did to you? I just pre-framed you. I pre-framed you in your frame because I know that whoever's watching me right now wants the very thing that I'm talking about. And so the imagination brings you into alignment with what could be, but the follow-up is, are you willing to invest in yourself to execute? Because it ain't free. If you want me to mentor you, the mentorship is great. The price is actually crazy. But it's not, you're not paying me. You're investing in yourself. I don't pay a coach. I invest in myself to become a better one. That's why I said, y'all need to start putting your money where your mouth is. You need to begin to invest where you want to go. If you want to learn business, invest in somebody who is in business, because this isn't free. You can't want my attention and not want to be an investor. Why? I just taught you the principle. You don't get an hour of my time for me to receive $1. No, I'm not doing it. However, what you can do is invest in a program that is ultimately helping you to do the very thing that you desire. If you obey me, you'll prosper. To have a marketing system. The marketing system is not the sales system. The marketing system is the way you attract and process clients or process prospects so that they can become clients. The sales system is the third thing that you're going to build. So you're going to build an offer, you're going to build a marketing system, and you're going to build a sales system. The sales system is, once they are interested in you, where are you going to take them? This is the journey, because they're in point A, but they want to be in point B. You, your business, your solution is the gap filler. I hope that makes sense. So you need to build. You need to audit A, B, build. Build what? Your offer, your marketing system, your sales system. And number 3 is C, check. You need to test and see if it actually works. Yep. You need to test it to see if it works. If you can test it for 90 days, give yourself 90 days. Matter of fact, give yourself 6 months. Because the first 90 days are going to break you. It's going to break your mentality. It's going to break your thought patterns. It's going to destroy what you perceived about yourself. These first 90 days of 2026 are going to destroy your mentality, especially if you framed it properly. Oh, you're going to be confronted, convicted, and almost confused. Like, how did I get here? But in the same breath, you're going to be clear, you're going to be concise, and you're going to be well controlled. There's an intention that will come out of you when you learn how to master these things. How do you master business? You need to audit, build, and check. Audit your skill, your internal, your market, Build your offer based upon the market, the skill, and then build your marketing system, build your sales system, and then check and see if it works. Give yourself time to fail fast. If you are not online building content and you want customers, you either need to create content or invest in ads. But don't be somebody who always wants to invest in ads before you invest in people. Because every time they see somebody who wants to sell something. No, show up, David, to serve. And then you'll be revealed. This content is my way of serving you. I'm serving you. This isn't free content. This is community service content. This is serving content. Okay? Yeah, that's it. So if you want to master your business, audit it, build it, and check. You need 10 testimonials, 5 to 10 testimonials to validate that what you're doing actually works. And when you have that, tell everybody about it and watch and see who decides to invest with you. Y'all got it? When some of you see me tomorrow, have my check ready. Have my 2026 check ready. Have my 2026 check ready. Have my $20.26 check ready. All right? Cool. God bless y'all. Until next time, in between time, in the meantime, I'll see you soon. As always, if you want to build wealth, you have to become wise. I'll see you soon. Peace.